Yesterday it was in 2019, Big 3 in Milwaukee, and back 2 years later, Deer District home to an NBA championship this year, and we come back inside for the final game of our six-pack here in Week 5 in the Big 3. It's the Aliens and the Enemies on Triller and Fight. And that was 2 years ago in Milwaukee. Avery Johnson, that shot nearly got him out of his seat. It was a great one from Joe Johnson. Triplets taking care of business 2 years later again here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah, the Triplets are just the most complete team right now in the Big 3. Coaching, size, versatility. And I'm in the Joe Johnson ISO Joe corner. I'm following the Triplets to Bahamas.
It's a good path to follow.
Yes.
As for this game, a tough act to follow, you have the Enemies and the Aliens to close things out. Elijah Stewart for the Enemies has been a really nice addition for Gilbert Arenas' club.
Yeah, Elijah Stewart, you know, all-time leader in three-point field goals at USC. You know, he can knock down threes from anywhere on the floor, but he's improved his post mid-range game, especially against smaller defenders. And in a situation like this against Bynum, he just jumps up, uses athleticism, and shoots over smaller defenders.
Enemies trying to rebound from a loss to the Triplets last week in Dallas, led by Swaggy P, Captain Nick Young, Harry Jones. Another one to watch here for head coach Gilbert Arenas. As for the Aliens, they're trying to find a victory here in Milwaukee tonight. Rick Mahorn's coaching this team right now. And again, if you can take care of business here today, change things as you get into the meat of the second half schedule in the Big 3. This is a guy you can certainly lean on, the captain 2 years ago, and now on the roster, Andre Owens.
Yeah, Andre Owens, University of Houston. Tough, hard-nosed player, scrappy, you know, can knock down the shot from behind the three-point line. You know, the key for him is not allowing his team to go through scoring droughts. And once you stay away from those long scoring droughts, get to the free throw line, that's going to be a big key for the Aliens, so that they can keep their coach Rick Mahorn happy, who's over here at the scorer's table trying to intimidate you, Ed, because he can't intimidate me.
Here we have the roster breakdown. I mean, what do you say?
You know, HBCU.
Supposed to say nice things. The baddest bad boy of them all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, time to coach. The high chair for Mr. Mahorn, the Big 3 Coach of the Year. He's coaching his third Big 3 franchise, won the title with Trilogy 4 years ago. And Gilbert Arenas, former Enemies player and captain, now leading the way as their head coach, the three-time All-Star Agent Zero. Let's take a look at the rules unique to the Big 3. First to 50 wins. We'll get to halftime when one team scores 25. There's no game clock. Free throws, there's one shot when it's on a two-point attempt, or a three-point shot, top of the arc, and then a four-point shot if there's a foul on a four-point try. 3 4-point circles 30 feet away from the hoop. Aliens getting ready with one of their recent additions, Jason Maxiel, 10-year NBA veteran. So the Aliens trying to get in the win column. The Enemies looking for their second win of the year.
And we'll see if a team who gets into foul trouble early. You know, Rashard Lewis got 3 fouls, had to sit. That hurt his team. You know, who can stay out of foul trouble, play defense without fouling and getting the bonus first. You know, Isaiah Austin has been, you know, fun to watch this year. Big guy that can really handle the ball and score at all 3 levels. I think the key is Swaggy P, you know, converting some of his shots, especially that step back three-point shot. He hasn't been he hasn't had the impact as a guy like Barbosa has had in his first year in the Big 3.
Nick Young, the captain of the Enemies, every 12 NBA seasons. Nice cut. Stewart with the finish on a beautiful pass by Isaiah Austin.
Nick Young has always been a fan favorite.
So Swaggy P and the Enemies tied with the Aliens at 2. Brandon Rush, along with Andre Owens, and Jason Maxiel gets the offensive rebound. Runner won't go. Stewart with it, with Austin and Nick Young. Elijah Stewart looking to take Owens off the dribble. Fadeaway three, and Rush with the board. Rush, quick release.
And when you're, a team, let's just take, when you haven't won a game, you have to do some things differently. You got to really evaluate your shot selection. What are you doing on defense?
One thing Rick Mahorn has going for this team is the majority of them played together 2 years ago. Aliens expansion year, Owens was the captain, drills the shot, and the Aliens, good start, leading 6-2.
Yeah, Owens has had a chance to have lunch with him when he was in Dallas. He and his beautiful wife, they've been married 17 years.
Wow.
And just a winner, just loves, he's got a winning spirit.
You've been married 30 years. Hit the big number.
Yeah, 30 years, July 6.
Owens trying to get going. And it's knocked out of bounds. Jason Maxiell, third Big 3 season. And passed with Three's company. Enemies coming off an 11-point loss to the Triplets. They scored just 9 points in the first half, and Austin strokes that one, and they're back within 2.
Boy, Austin has a pretty stroke for, a guy that has his size, 7'1", 7'2" wingspan.
Maxiell fouled. Swaggy P got him on the way up, and Maxiell gets a 2-point shot.
Austin played at Baylor. I know he was extremely happy for the Baylor Bears this year, and he and Perry Jones, the co-captain of the enemies.
You have a Baylor connection with those two, a Pac-12 connection. Nick Young, Elijah Stewart from USC, Jordan Hill, and head coach Gilbert Arenas out of Arizona.
Is Baylor still going to be in the Big 12 next year?
Oh,
I heard
boy.
2 schools were leaving.
Stewart missed the putback, but he's fouled. Yeah, there's a lot of movement, to say the least. See if anyone jumps in there.
Yeah, there was going to be a live. Glad Owens kind of got out the way that Stewart can fly.
Elijah Stewart, he's only 25, USC's all-time leader. When he left school, he's now second, hit 245 threes in his time with the Trojans.
And that's why I love what Jeff and Cube did, lowering the age for the Big 3. I thought that was smart. Giving these guys a chance to come out here and compete against some of the other, NBA veterans.
Now wave off the duck. Maxiell was out of bounds when he tried to save it, but it's now 22 years old. Was down from 27 from a couple of years ago. Did Austin touch it last?
Looked like it's off Austin.
The first overall pick in the Big 3 Super Draft. Brandon Rush.
Nice
Maxiell
pass.
rolls. Denied by Stewart and thrown down by Austin.
And Stewart came with the Dikembe Mutombo finger wave there. Like, no, big fella. That was an incredible athletic move with that block shot.
Owens ends the 6-0 enemies run. Andre Owens, that shot's look good so far.
And there's no hesitation. He's coming off, looking to score.
Nick Young against Maxiell. Entry to Austin. Bank shot gets the roll against Andre Owens.
And boy, that looked like that was going to be a point of no return there for Austin, because he put the ball on the floor against a much stronger player, but he has the size and length.
Denied by Austin. Maxiell, second chance, in and out. The rim protection that Austin provides, just huge for the enemies. Nick Young, 4-point shot. Swaggy P, no. Austin. Stewart, third chance.
Nice pass.
Isaiah Austin with that finish, and the enemies lead 12-8 early going in Milwaukee. 10-2 run. for the enemies. Will it be win number 1 for the aliens? More to come. Game number 6 in Milwaukee.
Three. Now that's a magic number. Got the homies.
Download the exclusive Big 3 app in the App Store and Google Play Store for exclusive content, highlights, stats, and merch. Download the Big 3 app today. Close of the night in Milwaukee. Enemies up on the aliens 12-8. John Sally, dare we say it, with his former Pistons teammate Rick Mahorn.
Yeah, I'm sitting with my big brother, my hero, Rick. You guys are looking pretty good today.
No, right now we're losing the hustle boys. We need to get the ball. They're getting second chance opportunities. We take care of that, we should get a win.
So why did you go over there and bother my coworkers right there?
Well, you know, your coworker sucks. And I went to a real black college, Hampton, baby, Hampton Institute.
That's all I got to say.
Southern.
Back to you guys.
How do you feel about that?
Just tell him at Southern University the court's named after me. So Southern University, you know, we're on an entirely different level than Hampton.
Yeah, we're going to have to look at how they view Rick Mahorn in Hampton, Virginia.
Yes.
Greg Oden with the cleanup and the finish. Well, great to be here. Final game of 6 in Milwaukee. Ed Cohen, Avery Johnson, John Sally with you. Originally, we're supposed to be in your hometown of New Orleans. The shift to the Midwest and Dallas last week. Big 3 will be in Chicago on Saturday for week 6.
Yeah, we're going to play at Xavier University, another HBCU school in New Orleans. And I'm glad a guy like Chris Paul is bringing a lot of light to those schools. Wearing their jerseys and colors to games and on his tennis shoes, just to let people know that those HBCU schools are important.
Nick Young, pull-up jumper goes down, and the enemies holding a 4-point lead. By the way, Reggie Theus, we spoke about this earlier in Bivouac's game, the new head coach and athletic director at Bethune-Cookman in Daytona Beach.
I tell you what, this game is starting to cook. It's starting to light it up.
Brandon Rush and the aliens within 1. Isaiah Austin halfway down, but no. So Shannon Brown with Oden and Rush. Greg Oden ducks in. Austin, was it coming down? No goaltend.
Austin is such a good rim protector. He's so long. Oden thought, you know, he had that little left-hand jump hook and then slam. Nice pass by Brown. You got to run Brandon Rush off the 3.
Rick has said he is the one guy they really lean on because he is their best shooter. And to your point, if he's not locked in terms of where the other offense is coming from, that's been the biggest question for the aliens.
Yeah, and the key is spacing, and you spacing the floor. And once the spacing is good and you can have passing lanes and lanes to drive.
Brown crossover on the drive. Runner is good. Took Stewart for a ride. Burst of speed from Shannon Brown. From not too far from here, Maywood, Illinois, Chicago area. Nick Young over Oden. Nearly got the bounce. And poked out of bounds as Rush went for the rebound.
Yeah, nice little right to left crossover here by Brown, getting downhill, finishing with his left hand. Didn't really need any body control there. That was, you know, just a standard layup. But that was a nice right to left, utilizing his speed, accelerating.
Stewart making things happen. Jones not giving Rush any room. On the attack, floaters not there, but a foul.
Smart play by Perry Jones, making sure that Rush drives. But then once you get him inside the three-point line, you got to play defense, show your hands. If the referees can't see your hands, a lot of times they're going to just believe, especially that something is going wrong in favor of the offensive player. That's why they need to see your hands so there won't be any doubt when you're driving. You close out, hands up on the rival, hands out on the drive. That's the way we teach it in terms of coaching when we're coaching our players.
So getting the whistle there on that prior drive. How about Stuart Avery? 10 points and 5 rebounds. Harry Jones for Elijah Stewart. And Jordan Hill on the floor as well for the enemies. Jones strokes the 3. Nice looking shot for the 29-year-old out of Baylor.
Yeah, the stroke looked good last week. You know, he's playing in Dallas. And
Brown on the pull-up. Oden snatching the rebound. Spins and scores. Vintage Greg Oden in Milwaukee.
You know, we love all of our guys in the Big 3, but Greg Oden is one of those guys that just holds a special place in your heart. You know his injury history, and now he's gotten himself back in the tip-top shape, and he's playing in the Big 3. He always gives maximum effort.
You root for him. Brown nails it. Good game. 2-point lead for the enemies. You just forget how great Greg Oden was coming out of Ohio State, how polished his game was, how good he would have been if he stayed healthy. Jones gets it up high. Young couldn't time it. And now Rush for halftime.
And we could say the same thing about Austin.
Yes.
He was projected to be a lottery pick?
Never got his chance. Isaiah Austin declared for the draft in 2014, but diagnosed soon after with Marfan syndrome, genetic disorder that affects the body's connective tissue. And it was that great moment, Adam Silver inviting him to the draft, made that ceremonial pick midway through the first round. Shannon Brown, and we've hit the break in Milwaukee. Final game of the night, and the Aliens looking for their first win. It's a 1-point lead.
Yeah, Shannon Brown just doing a nice job of getting his feet set, sprinting out to the three-point line. There's nobody between here and Chicago, and he knocks down the 3 and makes the defense pay.
Avery, a 6-0 close to the first half for the Aliens. Andre Owens and company, can they get in the win column halfway through in Milwaukee on Triller and Fight? In Milwaukee, Aliens with a 1-point lead at the break against Gilbert Arenas and the enemies. The head coach, Agent Zero, mic'd up in Milwaukee.
Hey man, they finally ran something, man. They finally ran a play. All right, man, in this game, man, that's good. That's all I needed. That's all I needed right there.
He was out there just a couple of years ago and now on the bench for the enemies. You know that feeling. You're playing, and then just a couple of years later, there you are on the bench.
Yeah, and you draw it up, and you hope that your players can execute it. And the hard part is for a guy like Gilbert Arenas is he can't play in the game. He can try to teach, encourage, and motivate, but he can't put on the uniform and do it for his team. They got to go out there and execute. And he said they finally executed the play that I drew up the exact way that I drew it up.
Making him look good. Andre Owens helping the Aliens, a 1-point lead after halftime.
Yeah, Andre Owens is, just a tough, hard-nosed player, solid mid-range. He's good rebounding the basketball, very crafty, in the right place at the right time. Look at him just getting to that 50-50 ball and converting it. That's what you call really good leadership.
Andre Owens with John Salad.
Okay, big man. I hear you taking people to dinner, so I expect to go to dinner on this trip.
I definitely got you. I got you tomorrow.
All right, me and Avery. So you guys pulling it out. You got big man working really well. You got an enemy team here. It's really close. What do you think is going to happen second half?
We just got to continue to execute. You know what I mean? Do the little things, move without the ball, set good screens and rebounds. We do that, we'll be all right.
Just understand, if Rick Mahorn back didn't hurt, he'd be smacking a couple of you guys.
For sure, he'd be smacking the referees. That's what he told me.
Yeah.
He said if his back wasn't hurt, he'd beat up Coop and a couple other players.
That's why his back is hurting. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, guys, and there is the Head coach of the Aliens, Rick Mahorn. He and John Sally combining for a championship in 1989. And looking at the 4 losses here for the Aliens this year, Avery, they've been close in a few of them. Halftime lead, can they take it to the finish and get in the win column?
Yeah, and the key is when you're leading at halftime, those first 5 possessions in the second half, how are you going to execute offensively? Are you going to get to the basket, take contested shots, play defense without fouling, ball movement? They need a few more cuts to the basket. There are some times where they're just standing around the Aliens, but make a backdoor cut. You saw the Aliens start off the game. They started off the game with a little bit, the enemies rather, with a backdoor cut by Elijah Stewart. It's amazing what a cut can do and how it breaks down a team and gives a team motivation.
Five games down and 1 half remaining between the Aliens and the enemies. A very strong set of games here tonight in Milwaukee. Began with the Ghost Ballers. Mike Taylor in his hometown getting the victory. Power holding off Tri-State. Triplets improving to 5-0. And Dante Green put on a show too, nearly matching Joe Johnson's single game record.
And you're putting on the show, Ed. This is your 6th game. We're giving you an award after this game.
We're almost at the finish line.
6th game in a row.
Great to have you aboard. John Sally on the sideline. Our crew, Carlo Gennarini, Matt Plundo, leading the way in the truck. Our statistician, Tom Hecker, Milwaukee's finest.
Yes.
Here at Fiserv Forum.
And so many folks behind the scenes where you never really see their faces.
Yep.
That do such a tremendous job to make us look good, research material.
How about Ice Cube? Great performance earlier tonight after game 4. Fiserv Forum.
Yeah, I wish he would have sang another song. We had to get back to action.
Well, it did look pretty in terms of posterity, but Jones does get that carom on the alley-oop. Maxiel. Stewart with the rebound. So Jordan Hill with Perry Jones and Elijah Stewart for the enemies.
And that was smart. Hill vacated the paint.
And pushed off Maxiel.
Yeah.
Ice Cube, all 6 to the finish. Brandon Rush nails the 3, and the Aliens with a 30-26 advantage.
And that's what you call a snapback pass. A little bit of a misdirection going to the left, and then snap back, shake up by Rush. That's some of the terminology that you use, and it just depends on what team, on how you explain or set that up for your team. Snap back pass, shake up for a 3.
Rush looking for room. Will take it to Hill. Maxiel, look what I found. Jordan Hill in a battle with Jason Maxiel. Loose ball foul on the Aliens' big man, Jason Maxiel.
Yep, so here's a nice pass from Owens. Misdirection, snap back, bucket.
Smooth looking stroke from an NBA champion, college champion, Brandon Rush at Kansas. Stewart cups it and scores. Elijah Stewart, there's a real athletic component to the man out of USC.
And you know what I like about both of these teams, including Rush, Stewart? They're running plays. You can run sets. You can run a backdoor cut, a screen away, pick and roll, as we talked about in the shake up by Rush. Here's a pick and roll. But the idea that, you know, this is just only ISO basketball and there's no creativity, that's not accurate.
Jones trying to beat Owens all by himself, and like you said, settles for a fadeaway 3, and that's no good.
Well, that wasn't a creative play, but this shot is. It would have went in.
Brandon Rush was along too. His foot was on the line.
It's always hard when a guy is stuck with the basketball and his teammates freeze and just ball watch. You know, go set a screen, cut back door, replace with the other guy.
Owens halfway down, punched up by Rush, brought down by Oden. Leans in Austin and the foul. And Greg Oden looking good, playing well inside, and a chance at a three-point play.
Yeah, that time Oden remembered he got his shot blocked, but here he uses what we call his little chicken wing. See that little right-handed chicken wing hook right into Austin's, the side of his body, and he completed the play.
Greg Oden, his second year with the Aliens, was 5th in the Big 3 in blocks 2 years ago. And give him the 2-point shot out of Lawrence North in Indianapolis, high school and later college teammate of Mike Conley, who's back with Utah Jazz. Stewart. Oden and Austin, that's becoming a really interesting battle underneath.
And normally the guy that retaliates is the one that loses that battle. When that shot goes up, you have to try to gain on your opponent quickly. If you're in the defensive rebounding position, you want to gain on him, force him to half court. If you're in the offensive rebounding position, you want to gain on your opponent and try to drive him underneath the basket without fouling. It's all about positioning. And in those situations, if you don't get the rebound, then you want one of your teammates to run in and get the rebound.
Look at a guy like Austin, Avery, in terms of what he brings on the offensive end. I mean, he has the length, makes him a really solid rim protector, but what have you seen from his game in his first year in the Big 3 offensively?
I just love his ball handling ability for his size. I mean, you've seen this guy. He's not quite ISO Joe, of course, and nobody is, but for his size, between the legs, behind the back, step backs.
It's there.
Yeah, and I just think a lot of times, you know, battling with guys like Reggie Evans and now Oden tonight, he's always going to give up some pounds, but he's been able to utilize his size and his length to be very effective.
Well, the first step of Shannon Brown. Oden, the Aliens, Avery, 5-point lead.
Yeah, and Shannon is taking advantage of it. Blowing right by Swaggy P with the left-handed finish.
The closer of 6 in Milwaukee here tonight. Aliens lead the enemies 37-32 at Fiserv Forum. Well, tonight's monster moment of the day is fueled by Brothers Food Mart. And let's go back to the killer threes. Dante Green, emphatic.
Yeah, he was very athletic on this move. Look at how he avoided the defense. That was a monster dunk. I just wish I could have dunked like that in my career. I'm just so neglected, Ed. I didn't have that type of ability.
You're being too hard on yourself. This guy can do a few things back in his day.
Yeah, Gilbert was an electrifying scorer. Had a couple of really good years with the Washington Wizards where he's just playing elite basketball. Scoring machine.
Go back to 2005, 2006. You know, Arenas was a 3-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA. He averaged over 29 per game. That was a career year for Gilbert Arenas. Early second-round pick in 2001 and turned it into really not just an All-Star NBA career, but he was a guy who, when he was in that groove, was must-see TV.
Yeah, must-see TV, and he was an entertainer. You know, a lot of times, you know, you want to win, but there are certain guys that entertain. They don't just play basketball, and he was one of those guys.
Shannon Brown, just steady, 2-time NBA champion with the Lakers. So the Aliens 39, Enemies 32. It's a 9-2 run for the Aliens, knocking on the door of their first win. Owens fighting to stay with Stewart. Poked it away. Oden diving, but Young's there at the 4-point circle.
Boy, they need a nice decision here by Brown. Nice decision. I love it. He missed it, but it was the right thing to do.
That was from his hometown of Maywood, Illinois, with nobody in sight.
He was right in between, and go for it. Another really good implementation and change this year with change a couple of years ago with the 4-point play.
Austin won't go on the 3. Now the 4-point circles are 30 feet away. You just need any part of your foot on any part of the circle. Jostling Oden, poked away by Austin. Oden getting it back and denied for a shot clock violation. Swarming D by the Aliens.
Well, I tell you what, Gilbert Arenas is as animated as he's been in week 5. He's really into it. You know, when you're losing, you have a lot of pride.
Yep.
And it starts with the coach.
He was on the floor a couple of years ago, leading the enemies. That was an expansion year in 2019. Finished 3-5, tailed off at the end of the season. And entering this year, the youngest team in the Big 3. Stewart, floater, no, big rebound, Jason Maxiel. Brandon Rush, Austin shading. Rush, fadeaway 2, air ball. Maxiel missed the rim, and Austin, it doesn't have to touch the rim to go back up with the slam.
Yeah, Maxiel is just having a little bit of a hard time finishing over the defenders. I think you got to do a better job of backing them down and getting them closer to the basket.
Much better in a late whistle. Chance at a 3-point play for Jason Maxiel.
Yeah, much better for the big fella right there, getting the offensive glass closer to the basket. He's got to use angles, you know, and really solid footwork to try to maneuver against some of the longer defenders.
Rick Mahorn giving Shannon Brown a breather. So Maxiel added to the Aliens earlier this season, 38 years old. First 8 years in the NBA with Detroit, and nails the free throw. So a 3-point play, and the Aliens 8-point lead and 8 points from victory.
Yeah, and give Coach Mahorn credit. He's been doing a really nice job of, you know, substituting his guys, getting them in and out. And
Nick Young won't go. Batted around. One of the officials, Gerda Gatling, didn't see it on the initial deflection. Owen saying, you might as well take a look at this. It was close.
no, it's not a foul.
Rick just wants to bring the fire.
He just wants to touch that.
Out of bounds play, so they can go to the monitor before play resumes, and they will. You nailed the last one that was close. What do you think here? This could be the look.
Looked like it was off Stewart. Looked like Stewart punched it out of bounds, but should be the Aliens' ball.
Elijah Stewart, Big 3 rookie. And we get another look at it in super slow-mo.
Yeah, looked like Stewart punched it out of bounds, even though Nick Young didn't touch it.
Now, Owens is making a really good point. He's speaking to one of the officials, and he's saying, you know, I have tape on my hand, so it's obviously not me. Good challenge there by the Aliens and Rick Mahorn.
Good challenge. I think that started with Andre Owens, though. He pointed, he was challenging.
You love the fire he brings. Former captain of the Aliens had to earn his spot in 2021. 17th pick in the draft. Brandon Rush. Nearly got the bounce. Max Seals fouled, and Austin is livid. Isaiah Austin, his whistle for the contact.
You know what? I'm glad in that situation. Unless he says something very, very profane, allow him to show his emotions. He didn't think he fouled. He did a little bit of a 180, and now we're going to have it bring the fire.
Agent Zio is going to bring the fire. Challenging the foul on Austin. Trying to waive the free throw chance for Max Seal. Taco Bell bring the fire. They'll go one-on-one. If Max Seal scores, count the basket. If there's a foul on Austin, you give it to him. And Max Seal off the mark, so went for the quick pull-up. And Austin getting the stop, a successful bring the fire challenge from Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah, Coach Rick Mahorn, he wasn't happy with that shot.
No.
You can see the look on his face. It's like, come on, man.
You have 10 seconds. Go to the hoop. Stewart does here, and Maxio rips down the rebound. Aliens 42, Enemies 34. Rush. Tip by Stewart, he's got the board. First of 50 wins. Running hook, missed the rim. Maxio.
Wow, Maxio looked like he got fouled.
Swaggy P.
You don't have to rush in the bad shots if you're the Aliens here. Just take the best shot. You got a mismatch here with Maxio inside.
Owens to beat the 14. And now it's Nick Young. Enemies trying to get to 2 wins. Stewart shakes free, slams it down with a burst by Rush. Enemies not going away.
Man, his vertical leap must be off the charts.
It's a guy who can fly. Elijah Stewart with a double-double, 21 points, 10 rebounds. And the Enemies, off the three-point miss, will take over, down 42-36.
Yeah, nice job on the loose ball, and then Jason Maxfield decided he did not want to be on the poster.
It happened to him courtesy of Franklin's session 2 weeks ago in Vegas. That's a smart guy right there.
Smart guy. That's a guy that learns from his mistakes.
So the Enemies within 6 here in the closing moments of the 6-game slate in Milwaukee. Gilbert Arenas, he is mic'd up here in Milwaukee.
Nah, end up hitting the rim. Who don't shoot the threes? That's all he do is shoot threes.
Always fun to hear these guys in the rhythm of the game. And again, we talked about this earlier, Avery. Gilbert Arenas, it wasn't that long ago he was on this floor with the Enemies team.
Yeah, and I just love to see guys, especially, you know, we have so many former players who are just outstanding in their careers, and now they have the clipboard in their hand, and they're trying to maneuver and just figure out one little play or nuance or where they can get an easy basket for their team off of a cut or a lob. So it's always good to see these guys.
Stewart off the curl, almost went down for 3, undercut by Rush, and now gets a 3-point shot here on the foul to bring the Enemies a little closer.
Yeah, and this is where you've seen some maturity from the Enemies. This is another play that Gilbert drew up, and they executed it. And
What's Rick thinking?
I think he was thinking about bringing the fire.
The dramatic suspense. He's thinking about it.
But check this out.
You did all that for nothing.
I can still do it. Push the button, Rick. I can still do it.
Push the button, Rick.
You still racing.
Push the button, Rick. Make a three. Push the button, Rick. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Bad boys ain't so bad, huh? The bad boy ain't so bad.
He's not going to bring the fire. 3-point shot. Well, I guess Rick jinxed him enough. Greg Oden. Nice control and knocked off his thigh. Great help by Stewart.
Great help by Stewart. Looked like Austin was trying to pull a chair on Oden that time.
They want to take a look. We had a good line on it, Avery. It did appear that it went off the leg of Oden, but they're going to get this right and double check.
We can help them. We can help the officials in this situation. The ball went off. Uh-oh.
Did it get the leg of Austin?
Uh-oh. Inquiring minds want to know.
Yep.
Austin.
I know you want to make the great steakhouses here in Milwaukee before they close at 9 o'clock Central, but we're taking a look.
Wow.
Oden, Rush, and Owens for the Aliens.
Offensive foul.
Greg Oden off balance, knocking Austin to the deck.
That was an excellent call. Oden just barreled into Austin in that situation, extended his right arm.
Aliens in the penalty, and so Austin gets a 2-point shot. Enemies hanging tough, 42-38, a 4-point game. Final one of the night here in Milwaukee.
Looking forward to Saturday also in Chicago.
Little road trip into the Midwest.
Chicago had the Bulls had a nice offseason with free agency. Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan, that came out of nowhere.
You throw them with Zach LaVine out in Tokyo right now.
Going for the goal.
Yep.
Let's go USA.
And Vooch. Stewart losing the handle, got it back though. Look at Owens. Stewart, baseline. Oden poked it away, collects.
Nice pass, Raul.
44-38. Rush on the switch against Austin. Oden collects and scores. I mean, that is the skill set of Greg Oden. The line drive shot off glass and good.
Not many big guys his size can catch that ball off balance like that. Keep it high and then finish it in the paint.
Austin able to answer, but still, point game for the Aliens. Can win it here with a 4-point shot.
What about a 4-point shot from Brandon Rush?
Swami, he's going to drive it instead. Owens sizing up Stewart. Follow-away jumper. Oden tip. Enemies trying to stay alive. Austin. Ankle breaker with the finish as Greg Oden is down and a little shaken up, grimacing right around. Yep, he's reaching for the right kneecap.
Yeah, and you thought Austin was going to pick and pop and take that 3-point shot. But yeah, the big fella came up hobbled there. It was a knee-to-knee contact.
I hate to see, just knowing the history in Greg Oden's basketball life. Hopefully, it's just a minor tweak.
Yes, and one of our guys went down earlier. Still waiting to get a report on
Quintel Woods.
Yes, Quintel Woods. So they're going to force the aliens to call a timeout here.
No, we good.
Greg Oden, look at that. Just needed a little time to collect. He's back out there. Point game for the aliens.
Go, 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 go.
Oden rolls, Owens fires. Enemies with it. Nick Young, over rush. Oden's there for the rebound. He's near the 4-point circle. Brandon Rush against Nick Young.
Good, smart move. Smart, crafty move by Rush. Engaging the defense, going up under the defense's arm.
Two-point shot. Aliens, they've got point game leading 46-42. Now, Gilbert Arenas is trying to confirm, did he use his Bring the Fire challenge? After the half, he did. And Rush makes it a 2-point margin to get to 50. You're allowed one Bring the Fire challenge each coach per half. Gilbert Arenas wanted to challenge Avery. And it's just a matter of when did he do it earlier. It was in the first half, so we'll get a Bring the Fire challenge now. They're going to wave off that 2-point shot from Brandon Rush.
So here we go. We got Bring the Fire with Rush and Swaggy P.
He initiated it just before the free throw. Taco Bell, Bring the Fire. Brandon Rush against Swaggy P. Denied. Enemies get the stop. A successful Gilbert Arenas challenge again. 2 for 2 on the game.
Nice job by Gilbert. Let's see if this can fuse some energy in this team. He's still in this game.
Oden with the strip. Steal for the aliens. Again, point game. Can win it with a 4-point shot.
Got to have better spacing.
Owens for the win. Knocks it down. And the aliens are in the win column. Owens for 4 in Milwaukee.
And off balance. That's a beautiful way to entertain and finish the games here in Milwaukee.
That's got to feel good.
Oh, this is going to be on highlight reels all night.
Rick Mahorn, just like you drew it up. Oh, it was close.
Close, yep. Didn't get any help from his teammates in that situation. Love game winners.
The former captain earning his spot through the draft, Andre Owens, wins it for the aliens, their first victory in 2021. You still owe him dinner.
Yeah, I owe him dinner for his anniversary. Hey, he's on an anniversary tour. No, his wife is going to be happy.
And the next stop, an interview with John Spider Sally.
Okay, I think I'm good luck for you because you didn't talk to me until today.
You got to start talking to me.
Yeah, I got to start talking. You got to start buying dinner.
Hey, listen, OG Avery, I got dinner for him. Tomorrow, I got dinner for you.
You got dinner.
Listen to me.
So this was a big shot.
This was a big one. We need it. We got to win out, and we told ourselves we got to start with today. And it was a team effort. Shannon Brown played very well. B. Rush gave us a lot of energy. Greg Oden, Max Hill. It was a team win tonight. And I wish we were playing like this earlier, but we're starting to click now.
Okay, good luck with you. Thanks. All right. Okay, guys.
Andre Owens and the aliens chalk it up. First win in the Big 3 season. Rick Mahorn victorious in Milwaukee. So after 6 games in week 5, here's a look at the Big 3 standings. Avery Triplets still perfect at 5-0. Ghost Ballers are right there. And then, man, there's going to be a lot of separation soon between that tie for 3rd. 6 teams, each with 3 wins.
Yeah, I'm really excited about teams like the Ghost Ballers and other teams that's trying to close the gap. The Triplets are still a favorite.
So from the land of the defending NBA champions, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, enemies fall to the aliens in the final game of 6. Week 5 is in the books for Avery Johnson, Lisa Leslie, John Sally, our entire crew. I'm Ed Cohen saying good night from the Cream City, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.